Jamie, for that wonderful intro. And thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. Um, it's a bit on the warmer side if you're actually currently watching this or if you watch the recording. So we're going to do a nice chill class this evening. Perfect for this late summer and perfect for the experience we're having. So even if you're indoors and in a climate controlled situation, I suggest or recommend that you have water available to you so you can take as many breaks as you'd like. Also recommend that you really tune into the experience in your body at this present time with no bearing on what you might have experienced earlier today or expecting to experience later. So with that being said, there are no props required, but we'll be doing a little work on our knees. I happen to have a knee pack, and I'll be using that. You'll see this come on a little bit more later, but you can fold up the corner of your mat or the edge of your mat when we get to any viewer, or you can bring in a towel or anything like that, or even a pillow or a pillowcase, anything. And I do have blocks. I will mention them throughout the practice. They're not required, but I will mention them and I'll mention where they come in really handy. So I invite you to find your most comfortable reclined position. I am going to start in Shavasana. And for those who want to stay there throughout your practice, feel free. Traditional Shavasana, you'll be laying flat on your back. If you're feeling any pinchiness or discomfort in your low back, feel free to bend your knees, soles of feet to mat. If you're taking traditional Shavasana, I'm going to invite you to bring the soles of your hands to the mat for grounding. Legs extended long on your mat. Maybe get a little bit of space, allow your hips to externally rotate by allowing your feet to flop out to the exterior corners of your mat. Your glance is up toward the ceiling or the sky, depending on where you're practicing. And if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. And take a moment here to notice your breath. Don't make any attempts to change your breath, just notice. Notice if it's choppy. Notice if it's still. Notice if it's deep or shallow. Humans take around 20,000 breaths a day, and there are so few of them we notice. Notice the space surrounding your mat. Any sounds that are in your environment. Without labeling or judging, just simply noticing, becoming very aware of where you are in the present moment. Bringing your awareness to your mat space and the points of contact with your mat. Maybe the soles of your feet or the back of your heels, your calves, your low back, shoulders, your arms, your palms, and the back of your head. Becoming very aware of where you are at the present moment. Taking a moment to discard or leave off of your mat anything that doesn't suit your practice. Giving yourself the permission to be here and be present. Bring your awareness now to your breath. I'm going to bring in a breathing technique called box breath. And I'll describe it and then we'll go through it as a group. So in what I call box breath, you inhale to a certain count. I'm going to use the count of 4. And you hold at the top for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold at the bottom for 4. And we will go through that 4 times. So on your next natural inhale, inhale to the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, pausing at the top, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. Last round, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. And allow your breathing to return to normal. And take a moment here to notice the shift that's occurred as a result of these few moments of mindfulness. If your eyes are closed, flutter your eyes open, allow the light of your space to enter. And on your next inhale, bring your knees into your chest for a squeeze. Nice and slow and nice and gentle, rock a little bit side to side. Wake up your low back. And then welcome in some circles with your knees. And give your low back a nice massage. And change directions when and if you're ready. Take a pause at center, give your knees a squeeze, and then allow your knees to gently land off to the right-hand side. Tee out your arms to the left and right, maintaining gaze toward the ceiling or toward the sky if you're outside. And feel that opening in that left-hand side body. There's an option here to place a block or a pillow between your knees. So find what feels really wonderful for you. Leaving your arms extended out to the left and right. On your next natural inhale, knees come through center, and then allow your knees to fall off to the left side. Gaze toward the ceiling or sky, and settle into this early twist, checking in with that right-hand side. Notice if your breath is nice and fluid and moving freely, or if you're finding any points of restriction as you breathe. We'll be doing some side body opening, and we're going to check in with our breath a little bit later. Let's see if, notice how that shifts. On your next inhale, knees come back in to center, give them a squeeze. And then gently allow the sole of your left foot to land on your mat. Right foot shoots up toward the ceiling, and then taking a basket grip anywhere behind that right leg. This is a hamstring stretch, flexing the right foot, and then adjusting that basket grip according to where it lands naturally, other than behind the knee joint. And tuning in and feeling Adding on, if you'd like, a circle with that right ankle in either direction. Then changing directions of that circle, noticing how it changes the experience in that right leg. And then you can even point and flex with that right foot. Pause at center for a moment, flexing that foot. And then allow that right leg to fall off gently to the right side. This is an inner thigh stretch on the right. So your right hand will brace that right leg anywhere other than the knee joint. So thigh, calf, if you're reaching your toes. So find what works for you. Left hand comes out to the left hand side. And allow that hand to dial up or face the ceiling or the sky. If that doesn't work for you, your hand can reach, left hand can reach to your hip. Breathe. Inhale that left leg back to center. Gently hinge, right leg, gently hinge the right knee, land the sole of your right foot on the mat. And pause for a breath cycle, noticing the difference between the right and the left leg. Right and left side, all the way maybe up into your jaw, into your right ear. Next inhale, left knee comes in for a squeeze. Shoot that left leg up toward the ceiling, taking this on the left side. So option for that basket grip behind the left thigh, calf reaching for the toes. If you're reaching for the toes, double check that both of your shoulders remain in contact with the ground. Once your foundation is set up, go ahead and add on ankle circles if you'd like with that left ankle. Changing direction, that circle. And choosing if you'd like to do the point and flex with the left foot. Just kind of working into the ankle a little bit. Feeling how the different muscles engage as you move that foot. Pause at center. And then gently allow that left leg to gently fall off toward the left-hand side for that inner thigh stretch. Adjusting the right foot as necessary, and only take that left leg deep enough out to the side where it doesn't raise your right hip off of the mat. And then when you're set or ready, turn up, allow that right arm to fall off to the right-hand side. Continue to breathe. Taking one more breath cycle. Next inhale, left knee comes for a squeeze, bring the right knee into join. A little bit of side to side movement. Eventually crossing at the ankles or shins, rocking the length of your mat a few times until you reach a seated position. I'm going to spin to face you just for demo, but you should face whatever direction you would like. When you find yourself in your seated position, make sure that your sits bones are in contact with your mat for a nice firm foundation. Level your shoulders over your hips with a slight ab engagement. Ears float above shoulders, and level your chin with the ground. On your next inhale, arms come wide, rise, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, arms reach out to the sides, up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And this time through, arms wide, rise. Maybe you look up at your palms as they touch overhead. And then exhale, hands to heart center. One more inhale, arms reach up wide, reach up, palms don't touch this time. And then on your exhale, we'll take a twist to the left. Left hand to left hip, right hand to left leg. Inhale, get tall in the spine, shoulders above hips. ears floating above your shoulders. And exhale, engage in the twist. Pressing firmly with that front hand, that right hand on that left thigh, bringing your shoulder into this twist. Your right shoulder. And still breathing. Nice, deep, even, slow breathing. One more full breath cycle. On your next inhale, arms reach up overhead. On your exhale, land your palms on your thighs, land your palms on your knees, wherever they land naturally. And check in with it, shoulder, hip, ear alignment. And noticing the difference here, what that twist brought in between the right and left side. One more inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, twisting to the right. Right hand to right hip, left hand to right leg, other than the knee joint. So thigh or shin. Inhale, getting tall, tall in the spine. Exhale, engaging in the twist. Using the leverage of that front hand, that left hand against that right leg. And breathing. And if it is safe and comfortable for you at any point, close your eyes. Tune in. Notice what your body is experiencing, what kind of feedback you're receiving. And breathe. Your next natural inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, side bending to the left. Left hand to left hip. Inhale, reaching that right arm up toward the sky. Line of energy from that right hip to those right fingertips. And then exhale, leaning over, leaning toward that left side. Keeping your chin kind of forward of heart center. So your chin would be aligned with where your heart is looking to avoid getting into any sort of twist. Nice and strong in that top hand. Point your fingers, nice and long. Feel that opening in that side body. On the right side. Next inhale, float your right palm up to face the sky, your top arm. Gently allow that right arm to work its way down to the right side. Getting into a little bit of a neck stretch. Stop at about halfway. And then gently allow your left ear to fall towards your left shoulder. And if you'd like or need to adjust in any way, you can work that right hand up or down. Good, ears to get into that right side of the neck a little bit. So wherever this hand lands for you to get the perfect stretch. Pause there and breathe. And one more full breath cycle. On your next inhale, as slowly as you possibly can, bring that right hand up and over to the left side of your head. And use that to work your head back to center. On your next inhale, both arms reach overhead. Exhale, side bending to the right. Right hand to right hip. Inhale, left arm reaches up. Nice long line of energy, hip to fingertips. Exhale, lean over toward the right side. Checking with the left sits bones, make sure that's still in contact with the mat. And breathing. Nice and strong in that top arm. Next inhale, floats the palm of that left hand to face the sky. Allow that left hand to work about halfway down, so probably about 3 o'clock straight across. And then allow that right ear to gently work its way over toward the right shoulder. And then begin to adjust that left hand up or down until you find that perfect opening in that left side of your neck. Tune into where this feels good for you, which might be or probably will be very different than my experience. Also, probably be very different than the other side. And your next inhale, left arm reaches up and over to the opposite side to assist your head to return to neutral so your ears are floating above your shoulders. Next inhale, both arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And take a basket grip with your fingers. I'm putting them off to the side just a little so you can see. So intertwine your fingers and your thumb, bring it back to center. We'll bring a little bit of wrist movement. I like to wake up the wrists before I have your weight on my wrists. So bring in some figure eights with your wrists. Maybe a little bit of forearm movement. Might feel this in your shoulders. You can pause at center, take a look down at your thumbs and notice which one is in the front and change whichever one is in the front, which moves all of your fingers. And then now we're going to take figure eights again, but take them to the opposite side. So if you engaged on the right last time, engage on the left. Just a little movement in those fingers, those wrists. Pause here at center. And your next inhale, arms come wide, rise, palms touch overhead. And we'll take seated forward fold. So you're reaching forward, forward, forward of your practice space, getting long in the spine. And then when you've reached that point or close to your edge, allow your palms to land where they land for you naturally. Whether that be on your legs, on the practice space in front of you. And then the last adjustment on your next inhale, inhale your ears so they're in line with your shoulders and notice how that changes. It might release a little bit of the tension from your neck. Brings the movement possibly into your shoulders. And breathe. Nice and slow and intentional. On your next inhale, palm over palm, make your way back to a seated position. And then change the cross of your ankles. So whatever ankle was not in front, allow that to come in front. Double check that your sits bones remain contacting with the mat or in contact. We'll take an inhale, arms come up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, forward fold seated. Same as what we did on the other side, but changing this up just a little. And when you're ready, if you need to adjust, ears come in line with your shoulders. And breathe. On your next inhale, hand over hand, make your way back to a seated position. And we'll take one more movement in the seated position before we move on. Inhale your hands to your shoulders, and we'll bring in some shoulder circles. So your hands will be placed on your shoulders, and then circle your elbows in and back out toward the back, up and around. Work here with your breath and work at your pace, and allow these to be as large or as small as you like or need. And then change directions, so engage back and then forward. And this is really about having your own experience, tuning in, feeling, moving, breathing. And take a pause at center. Then make your way to a tabletop position. I'm going to turn to face the front of my mat. So to get into tabletop, for me, I just lay my hands on the mat and then work my knees underneath my hips. So take a moment here to get set up in tabletop for your body position. So your wrists should be underneath your elbows, under your shoulders. Your knees should be underneath your hips. You should be looking down toward the center of your mat a little bit, but kind of the center of where your fingertips are, and a slight ab engagement. So let's bring in some hip circles. So allow your hips to fall off to the right-hand side, toward the back of your mat, left-hand side, and then back to center. Taking these nice and small or large. Maintaining that slight alignment, looking down at your mat, and that slight engagement in your abs. And then change directions. Look over to the left, center, right, and back to neutral. Keeping those palms and those arms nice and active. Looking into your shoulders a little bit. And let's all meet at center. On your next inhale, allow the toes of your right foot to land on the mat for a calf stretch. Extend your right leg long behind you. And then when and if you're ready, bring a little bit of forward and back movement into this calf stretch. Keeping your gaze down on your mat and just feeling, noticing. Take a pause at center. Next, inhale, float your right heel hip high, dial your toes to face the mat. Reconnect with your balance by engaging your abs. And then on your next inhale, float your left arm forward, thumb spins to face the sky. Reconnect with your balance. Begin to continue to look down. We're going to hold this for a moment for static as opposed to moving. And breathe. And your next natural exhale, allow your left palm to reach the mat. Float your right leg behind, land that on the mat, or practice space to your left for an IT band or an outer hip stretch. If you'd like to add on to this, take a glance over that left shoulder toward that right foot. And if you go there and it doesn't feel really wonderful, or if it's just not what you're looking for this evening, turn back to looking at your mat and breathe. On your next inhale, float your right knee back to the mat for tabletop. And let's welcome in some cat-cow movement. Inhale, float your hips toward the sky, allow your belly to sink toward your mat, looking forward toward the front of your practice space. And then allow your heart to kind of sink through, shining forward. Exhale, cat pose, curl your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your hips, allow the crown of your head to kind of relax toward the mat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale to cat pose. Taking the next 4 or 5 full breath cycles to go through cat-cow at your pace, and adding on anything that would feel good to you in your practice and in your body. Maybe you bring in barrel rolls with your torso. Maybe you wag your tail. Do what feels good to you. One more full breath cycle. And then find yourself in neutral tabletop. On your next inhale, float the toes of your left foot extended long on the mat behind you for that calf stretch. Checking with your spinal alignment. And when and if you're ready, bring in that forward and back movement in that left calf. Feeling and breathing. On your next inhale, float the toes of your left foot, hip height, flex your foot, reconnect with your balance. Next, inhale, float your right arm forward, spin your thumb to face the sky. Palm facing the left. Find your balance again and breathe. On your next exhale, allow your right palm to meet the mat. Float your left leg behind, landing on the practice surface to your right. Adding on the glance over that right shoulder if you'd like. See what you need on this side. And breathe. And next inhale, float your left knee back to the mat for tabletop. And let's all take a child's pose. Knees wide, about mat's width distance, toes touch, hips sink long behind you towards your heels, and then reach your arms long in front of you. And then finding a resting place for your forehead or your chin. So this is where you may want to bring in any sort of item to raise or bring the ground closer to you. Maybe a pillow comes in handy that you stack your hands one on top of the other. And this is where you check in. Check in with your breath. Check in with your body. Notice how that's feeling. And then check in with your mind. And notice the calm that has surfaced as a result of your practice. And you breathe deeply into that back body. On your next inhale, float both of your hands toward the top right corner of your mat for a side body opening on the left. Remaining in child's pose. And breathe. Breathe into that left side body. Notice the space you're opening. On your next inhale, flip your hands across your mat to the front left corner of your mat. Side body opening on the right. And breathe. Next, inhale, both arms reach long in front of you, back to that central or normal child's pose. And then on your next inhale, float to a tabletop. Exhale, curl your toes under on your mat and your tabletop, and very slowly and gently float your hips toward the ceiling or the sky. Downward facing dog. In your down dog, maybe you welcome movement by walking your dog, bending one knee at a time. Maybe you wag your tail. Maybe take a nice deep bend in your knees if you're feeling any tension in your low back. And you breathe. Pause and center stillness in your down dog. On your next inhale, float your heels off of your mat. Baby steps, walk to the front of your mat for forward fold. This is a nice place to bring in blocks if you're not easily reaching your mat, or allow your hands to dangle toward your mat. Welcoming a nice deep bend in your knees if you're feeling tension in the back of your legs or your low back, and allow your head to dangle or hang heavy. Maybe you nod your head yes. Maybe bring in neck circles. Wherever you are, you breathe. Wherever you are, allow your hands to dangle toward your mat. And on your next inhale, rise. Arms come wide, rise, palms touch overhead. I'm going to spin to face you just for demo. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms wide, rise overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's all take a mountain pose. Bring your arms alongside your body, allow your palms to face the front. Nice and strong in your foundation, kind of sway a little bit side to side so you bring your weight evenly among all four corners of both feet. Feet about hips with distance, slight ab engagement, shoulders floating over your hips, ears over shoulders. And then level your chin with the ground. Notice the strength of your foundation. You're rooted, your foundation with the earth. And breathe. Your next inhale, bring your arms wide, rise all the way up overhead. And on your exhale, let's take cactus. Still strong in your foundation, that shouldn't change. And in cactus, arms are wide, chin is still level with the ground, elbows in line with shoulders, wrists in line with elbows. On the next inhale, think of squeezing your shoulder blades a little bit closer together. Open up just a little more, engage some of those back muscles. Check in with your chin to make sure you're still level with the ground. Breathe. One more inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, simple twist to the right. Bring your right hand back, left hand forward. I'm going to spin to face the side just for demo. Arms should be level with the horizon. Shoulders over hips. And last adjustment, bring that right hip forward, that left hip back. See how that changes your twist. And breathe. Next inhale, right arm reaches up overhead. Extended mountain. Exhale, simple twist to the left. Left hand back, right hand forward. Level with the horizon. Nice and strong in your fingertips. Left hip forward, right hip back. Taking a couple breath cycles here. Next, inhale, left knee reaches up and around, extended mountain, and you spin just so facing the front of my mat. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands through heart center, forward fold. Nice and slow. Inhale, flat back, hands either to shins or thighs. Exhale, deeper forward fold, palms to mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, right leg high for three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your knee towards your nose and land your foot between your hands or wiggle your foot with your right hand so it's between your hands. Your hands can hang freely over your foot or you can bring in blocks to frame your front foot. You get to choose. So we're in runner's lunge. So bring in a little bit of forward and back movement, a little bit of side to side movement in that right hip, and you're very long and strong in that back leg. Nice strong foundation. Pausing at center in your runner's lunge, looking down towards your mat, and then allow your left knee to gently land on your mat space, curl onto the shoelace side of that left foot. And this is where we're going to pad underneath my left knee. So take a moment to pad however you need to, if you need to fold your mat or bring in a pillow or anything like that. And your next inhale, both of your palms land on your right thigh. So we're setting up our foundation before we add anything on to this. So find your balance. And then your knee, your right ankle should be under your knee. And then your left hip should be above your left knee. Nice. Inhale, both arms reach up toward the sky, crescent, kneeling crescent. Exhale, right hand to right hip. And we're going to take some shoulder movement or shoulder circles with that left arm. So on your inhale, reach that left arm forward, down by your left hip, back and back up. And at any point in this circle, if you have the need or desire to bend your elbow for comfort, please do that. So see what you need. Take one more full cycle through. We'll all meet with our left arm facing the sky. When we're inhale, reach that left arm up toward the sky. And on your exhale, that left hand comes across your body, landing either on the top of your right foot, on a block or soup can or anything to the inside of your right foot. And your right hand is still on your right hip. So this is going to turn into a twist and actually a bit of a balance challenge as well. On your next inhale, bring that right shoulder up and back around behind you. So you're twisting and opening up to the right side. Right hand still on right hip. And then check your balance. If you need to adjust, that right foot might need to come out a little bit to the right, whatever you need. And if it works for you on your next inhale, right arm reaches up toward the sky, opening up and breathing. Your breath is a good indicator if this is not where you need to be. If you're working too hard, your breath will tell you. Inhale, reach that right arm up if your right arm is raised. Exhale, right hand to right hip. And your next natural inhale, unwind from the twist. So look down first. And your next inhale, left arm reaches up toward the sky. Nice. Reconnect with your balance. See if you need to adjust that front foot. Exhale, lean over toward the right side. Getting into the left hip flexor. Still gazing forward. Still active in that left hand. And breathe. On your next inhale, both arms reach up toward the sky. Back to that kneeling crescent. Adjust the front foot if you need to. Exhale, hands through heart center. Folding to frame your front foot with your hands, or maybe you're tenting your fingers on your mat. Wiggle your right foot closer to the center of your mat. Inhale, curl your left toes under, raise your left knee, runner's lunge. On your next inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, left leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, your knee comes towards your nose. Land your foot between your hands or use your left hand to wiggle your foot between your hands. Runner's lunge on the left, option for blocks to frame that front foot, option for tented fingers. Get nice and strong in that back leg, nice stable foundation, and then bring in that side to side and forward and back movement when and if you're ready. And breathe. Pausing at center, and then allow your right knee to land gently on your mat or pad underneath your right knee. Curl onto the shoelace side of your right foot. On your next inhale, rise. Palms land on your left thigh. So set up your foundation first before we move on. Get nice and solid. Next inhale, both arms reach up toward the sky. Readjust that front foot if you need to. Left hand to left hip, shoulder movement on the right. When and if you're ready, right arm reaches up toward the sky on an inhale. Forward toward the front of your practice space, down by your hip and back. Bending that right elbow if necessary or if it feels good. And breathing. Next time you find your right hand reaching up toward the sky, pause. On your next inhale, right arm reaches up toward the sky. Exhale, leaning forward, landing that right hand to either the inside or the outside of that left foot or on top of that left foot. Check your balance here before we add on. Next inhale, circle that left shoulder back, open up. If you'd like to add on to this twist, inhale, reaching that left arm up toward the sky, open up. Breathe. One more inhale, that left arm reaches up toward the sky. Exhale, land your left hand, framing your left foot, unwinding from the twist. Inhale, both arms reach up toward the sky. Exhale, left hand to left hip. Inhale, right arm reaches up toward the ceiling. Exhale, lean toward the left side, getting into that right hip flexor. Find your balance again, just as you need, and breathe. Next inhale, both arms reach up toward the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center. Land your hands, framing your front foot on your mat. Inhale, curl your back toes under, raise your back knee, your right knee, runner's lunge. Next inhale, left leg high, three-legged dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale. Gently land your knees on the mat for tabletop. Spin your feet out to either side. And work your way toward the back of your mat. Swing your legs in front of you. And we'll take a pike stretch. Place my blocks off to the side. Flex your feet. Inhale, arms reach up toward the sky. And exhale, leaning forward toward the front of your practice space. And then down. And in this forward fold, much like in the seated forward fold, double check that your ears are in line with your shoulders and see how that changes the experience in your body. If it works for you to allow your head to rest toward the earth, choose that. But know there are options, and these minor adjustments change the experience. one more full breath cycle. And then on your next inhale, hand over hand, make your way back to an upright position. And then work your way toward the middle or front section of your mat. We're going to make our way onto our backs. So you can choose to leave your legs long or bend your knees or hinge your knees. Just reach out in front of you and very slowly, make your way onto your back. And when you've arrived, bring your right knee into your chest for a squeeze. And then take a nice circle with that right hip in either direction. Cross that right leg across your body to the left for a twist. Option here to place a block underneath, anywhere underneath that right leg. Tee out your arms to the left and right and maintain a nice soft gaze toward the ceiling. And breathe. Begin to very, very slowly unwind. And then change out your legs. Right leg long, left knee comes in for a squeeze. Hip circle with that left knee a couple times through. And turn this into a twist, crossing your body, left leg across your body to the right, arms tee out to the left and right, glance toward the sky. And breathe. And to unwind from that twist, bringing both knees into your chest for a squeeze. If your anatomy allows, forehead reaching up toward your knees. And make your way to your version of Shavasana, our starting posture. In traditional Shavasana, legs are nice and long on the mat. Arms are out to the left and right. And in closing Shavasana, you can choose to dial your palms up toward the ceiling or down for grounding. And take a few moments here to adjust any clothing or any body parts that you need so you can fully relax into your mat. Notice your breathing returning to its normal pace, allowing your mind to settle. And give yourself any and all permission to just be. Shavasana. Keeping your eyes closed. Take a nice full inhale. And exhale. Begin to welcome small movements back to your body, by wiggling your fingers and toes. Circle your ankles and your wrists. And gently nod your head side to side. Inhale your arms overhead, nice and long. Turn legs long, nice full body stretch. Make your way onto your favorite side, curled into a tiny ball, using your lower arm as a pillow. And from this place of stillness, notice the shift that's occurred as a result of your practice. Notice how you feel. Spaciousness in your mind and your body. You know, this feeling is a part of you that can be recalled at any time. You can come back to this moment of peace. And tranquility. Using as little energy as possible, make your way to a seated position. And when you've arrived, hands come together at heart center. Thumb knuckles to third eye center. Really give yourself a nice massage between your eyebrows. And with gratitude for the opportunity to come together in practice, bow your own head to your own heart. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me this evening. My name is Laura, and it's truly been a pleasure to guide your practice.